Hello and welcome to this online seminar of our new KNX push button range F10. My name is Tobias Schlitzer and I'm the head of the international sales at JUNG, and I would like to give you an overview about our new KNX push button range. Within the next minutes I will explain you all the details you need, especially also the ETS application, but as a start I would like to give you an overview about the varieties we are offering. And to do so, the best start would be to go and have a look in our online catalog. So let's get started. So now we are on the JUNG homepage, where you can go via the online catalog, where you find the chapter for the KNX system. Within the chapter you will see the design, and here you find already the KNX push buttons F10. And of course, as you're used to it by JUNG, you get the F10 range in the different design ranges available, which is AS, A, CD range, and of course the LS range. Within the ranges, of course, different colors and materials like metal are available too. When we will have a look in the LS range, you see that we have the inserts as a 1-gang version, and below you will find the inserts for the 2-gang versions. And of course we will have the appropriate rockers. In this case, a 2-gang rocker without any labeling, a 2-gang rocker with symbols, arrows, for instance blinds up or down, dimming the light up and down. We will have a 2-gang rocker with a lens for the status LED and a combination of both status LED plus symbols, in this case the arrows. And of course you will find the same for the 1-gang versions as well. When we will have a look in the inserts, let's start with the 1-gang standard, and we open all the available information. You will see that of course all the basic KNX functionalities are possible. So switching on and off a light, dimming the lights, blinds up and down, setting brightness values, temperature, calling and saving the scene. The insert itself, it will be installed in a normal flash mounted wall box according to the DIN standard 49073. And when it comes to the operation concept of the device, we will have 2 versions possible. So we can either decide going for a rocker principle, where we have a top and a bottom operation, but both operating the basic function, the same function, or we split the rocker in, let's say, possible 2 independent functionalities, and then we have again a push on the top and of a button, but this can control 2 different loads, for instance. When it comes to the buttons, of course we can decide if we have a single or a dual operation. That means, do we have on the top the ceiling light, where we press in a toggle mode on and off the light, and with a button we can, for instance, switch on and off a socket outlet. This is of course possible. The device is a so-called monoblock device, which means the bus coupling unit is already integrated, so you don't have to order a different article number, just this article and you have a full operating KNX device. As already mentioned, we have a status LED with the color red in the standard version, and this is quite important and a nice feature, the product is already equipped with the Data Secure standard. So if you need in your project's Data Secure functionality, this device is compatible with the Secure standard. When we jump back and we will have a look into the universal mode and open again also here the functionality, of course everything which I just explained for the standard version is available in the universal version as well. What do we have on top is an alarm function. That means you can use the status LED also for indicating that there's alarm ongoing. The customer then sees by a blinking LED with a frequency of 2 Hertz that there is an alarm, and the acknowledgement can be done by pressing any of the buttons of the push button. We will have disabling functions available. With the universal version, it's possible to set the brightness value of the LED, and for the universal version, the LED comes in RGB color, so in red, in green, and in blue. What is quite important for the universal version is that we have an integrated temperature sensor. So quite often you need, of course, to measure the temperature sensor. For instance, when you don't want to have a complete room thermostat in a room, in a smaller room, you can measure with this device the temperature, send it on the bus, and use, for instance, the control function of our actuator, KNX heating actuator range, which has the control RTC function on board as well. With the universal version, of course, it is possible to connect an extension device. What this means, I will explain in a second. As well as you can connect, if you don't want to use the extension version, you can connect instead some normal read contacts, so like window contacts if you like to, or normal conventional push buttons. Here the maximum length of the cables which is allowed is 30 meters. And of course the universal version is also available with the KNX Data Secure functionality. Let's jump back and have a look at the extension device. So what does it mean? The extension device is basically no independent KNX device. It always needs to have the insert in the universal version. So then this can be connected to the universal version, and then it operates, or it can be operated as an additional switching or operation point. So like you have a room where you have on the one side the universal insert, and then you need to have a second operation point. You can connect then here this device to the universal insert by a normal bus cable if you want to. Up to 30 meters is allowed, and then you have a quite cost-effective extension of the functionality, so you don't need to have two full operating KNX devices. So this is a principle you hopefully know, because this is within our F40 and F50 range as available as well. So, and of course, everything I explained with the 1-gang version is the same, just with the 2-gang version in a double functionality. So I would say it's quite a wide and broad portfolio, which should help to fulfill the needs of your clients, which is quite flexible in your projects. So I guess this is quite a nice product range which you can use in your projects. Yeah, so now I have here some physical examples for you to show. On the one hand, we have here our F10 standard push button as a 2-gang version with status LED, 2 separate ones for each rocker side. As we just learned, you can use them for status LED or for an alarm function as well. When you have a look from the side, you see that we have this typical rocker position the customers know from a normal mechanical push button. So normally everybody would know how to operate intuitively this push button that you can press on the bottom, and of course also on the top to switch either on the light, to dim it up and down, or of course to control the blinds up and down. Additionally, you can see here on the device the so-called KNX Secure Device Certificate, which is needed to be uploaded in the ETS to use the KNX Data Secure functionality. And of course on the back you have the KNX terminal. Next we have the universal version of our F10 push button. In this case it's a 1-gang rocker type. The main difference is on the back So here you can see that we have additional terminals. These terminals are used to connect either external, for example, read contacts, normal push buttons, or, and then we come to the third device, our extension module for the F10 version. So this is the a non-KNX participant. This will be connected via the universal push button to the KNX, and then you have a quite cost-efficient version if you need an additional switching point within your project. So the next, I would like to show you the ETS application, all the features we have implemented in there, but before to do so, I would like to show you a short movie summarizing the F10 switching range. So now we are in the ETS, and you have seen that I have created already a small demo project, and I have opened the online catalog where you can find now here the applications for the F10 push button, and you can see that we have two different versions available. The one is, let's say, the normal standard application, and the second one is the KNX Data Secure application, which is indicated by this little symbol, this little shield, which you can see here. Why did we decide to have two separate versions of applications? Assuming that you have a project which do not need does not need the KNX Data Secure functionality, you don't need to have all these functions in there, which means you have to upload the device certificate, you have to set a password, etc., etc., a lot of pop-up menus. So if you have a normal standard KNX project, the normal application would be fine. If you need to have a data secure, then you go with this application. Of course, here you have the full functionality and the full data secure implemented. To get this application, you have to get in contact with us. It's via the My JUNG portal, where you need to have an account on our homepage. Just get in touch with us, and then we tell you how to get this application. So, but now let's have a look for the standard version. I will close the catalog because I have implemented the push button already in my project. So here you can see now that we have the universal version available. Here you can also see that it says, okay, the device basically has the data secure functionality, but to use it, you need to have a separate application. Then we have here a general function. With a general function, you can select if you have connected the push button extension module, yes or no. I just explained in the online catalog what this means. So we're just enabling this functionality here. And of course, you can see, you can select, do you have a 1-gang version connected as an extension module or a 2-gang version? Or if you don't have the JUNG extension modules, but you would like to have a normal push button or read contact, so you will use it as a binary input, you would use this entry, which is called installation button. I leave it now like this in this case. And then you see that we have additional features integrated in the F10 push buttons. So you can enable, for instance, the temperature management if you like to. You can use the alarm function of the LED, disabling function, and energy saving mode. So a lot of functionalities you can enable or disable according to the needs of your project. So, but we also have a little plus here in the general. So when I open this, you can see that appears now the entrance operation concept. So here we define if we have the rocker principle, so like a normal rocker, conventional rocker, or if we would like to have the button functionality. And when we use the button functionality, we can use, as said, different loads per rocker than in this case. For the status LED, of course, a lot of adjustments can be done here as well. As said, in the universal mode, the status LED can have different colors, red, green, or blue, or color section per status. So you can have will have different communication object for different functionalities. You can have different colors if you like to. The brightness value can be set of the LED per communication object. You can also say, okay, I will have a night reduction. So this is quite handy when you have installed the device in a sleeping room. Then during the night, the LED can be lowered, that the customer, the user, is not disturbed by the status LED. When we go into the rocker, of course, you can give it a name. So I just call it light in this case. Sorry, little typing mistake. I call it light. And then we have a switching functionality. And of course, you can say what happens when I press the push button or the rocker, on, off, toggling, or no reaction. And of course, when I release the rocker, I can also say what happens here. In this case, this is no reaction. The same we can do then for the bottom rocker. So in this case, we switch on and off the light. But of course, we do not have only the switching functions. We have many more. So we can dim. We can control the blinds. We can send some value on the bus. We can use it for calling and saving the scenes. We have a 2-channel operation, and we have a controller extension in the sense of controlling the operation mode for the temperature control. I would like to have a look in the value transmitter. When we set the rocker for value transmitter, of course, we can select different values we would like to send on the bus. And finally, we have a sensor where we can control also the for tunable white, for instance, the temperature of the temperature of the color, and of course we can here with this one select with a so-called color wheel sequence which color we would like to adjust. So when I say okay, value adjustment by a long press, the color will change as long as I press the button, and when I have reached the color I would like to use, I just release the button and I have the color I would like to have. And of course I can also select the color quite easily by selecting here this color window, and you see directly the RGB or HSV values are taken here with the right values, so you don't have to Google which color has which RGB code. So quite handy and quite easy way of selecting and controlling your color, I would say. When we jump to the status LED, as said, the function of the status LED, of course, can be just displaying the status of the button, but you can of course also use a separate communication object for the LED. So many functions are possible for the LED as well. When I open it here, you can see a supposed function, which is also possible to indicate via a separate object, which you can use in this case as well. The second rocker in this case is for the extension module, which we enabled under the general functions. So you can see here what we could do with the universal insert. We can also do for the extension module as well. So the switching, dimming, Venetian blind, everything you see here, of course, is possible as well. And what we can also say is here then what is available for the push button, for the rocker off and on. So the basic principle we have just seen for the universal module on top as well. I just mentioned we have integrated temperature sensor, so this is something we enabled under the general function as well. And then you can see here we can use the internal sensor, which is integrated. We can also connect an external temperature sensor as well, and then we combine both values and calculate with a ratio you can define, 50-50 or 10-90, whatever, and then send this calculated value on the bus. I guess normally, if the room is not too big, we just use the internal value. Last but not least, the alarm function. The status LED can be used as an alarm function as well. So when you have, for instance, a wind alarm, this can be indicated to the user as well. Then by a communication object, this alarm goes onto the LED, and then the LED starts blinking with a frequency of 2 Hz, and then the customer can acknowledge this by just pressing any of the buttons. So I guess you have seen now that this is a quite comprehensive, fresh and new application which has everything on board which you normally need in a modern project. So a great tool which you can use in the future for your projects. Yeah, I hope you had a great overview now about our new KNX F10 push button series, the functions and the varieties. Doesn't matter if you have 1 gang, if you have 2 gang, universal, standard, with or without extension module. So the range offers you a great flexibility, which you can use, of course, for your projects and offer to your clients a great comfort and, in my point of view, intuitive and cost-efficient way to control your KNX installation. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed what you have seen. You probably will try and use it in your next projects. And until now, I would like to say goodbye. Thank you for your attendance and, of course, stay healthy. Bye-bye.